Maurice Freeland. You may not have heard that name, but you should have. He's the mysterious jump kick man that appeared in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Well, he appeared in a lot of videos in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. If you remember, he's the guy who took a flying kick at Kyle as Kyle was sitting on the ground. So, who is this Maurice Freeland? Well, we're going to look into his background, and we're going to see that given the trouble he's been in, he should be a perfect hero for the left. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnny Walker Dread Show.
All right, let's take a look at Jump Kick Man here. We've all seen this a million times, but hey, you got to start the video somehow. Here he goes. He gets off of the ground, and Kyle almost shoots his gonads off. Later, a video would show him limping off. It's not clear as to maybe he just sprained his ankle by trying to kick Kyle or what. At any rate, the Dan O'Donnell Show can now report exclusively that Jump Kick Man is a 40-year-old black male from Kenosha with an extensive criminal record, who was at the time of the Rittenhouse shootings on probation following a conviction for domestic violence battery. Gee, that kind of sounds familiar. Oh yeah, that's Anthony Huber's favorite crime. And Jojo Rosenbaum's as well. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Gage Grosskreutz, too. He faced a maximum sentence of 9 months in jail, but less than 2 months before he kicked Rittenhouse, he accepted a plea deal that netted him 12 months probation. Hey, it's Kenosha County. It's what they do. They give out really comfy pleas. The following year, he violated the terms of his probation and was sentenced to 7 months in jail. What a great guy. Oh my God, he is a perfect hero for the left. Had Jump Kick Man been sentenced to even 2 months in jail instead of probation, he would not have been in Kenosha the night of the shootings. His kick, which prompted Rittenhouse to fire 2 shots at him, may well have provoked Huber to strike Rittenhouse with his skateboard a second time, causing Rittenhouse to shoot and kill him. That in turn prompted Grosskreutz to advance on Rittenhouse and draw his handgun on him, which caused Rittenhouse to shoot him in the arm. Jump Kick Man's actions likely set these events in motion, and thus had he not been on the streets of Kenosha that night, it is entirely possible that Huber and Grosskreutz would not have been shot. I'm not sure I buy that argument. But okay. The Dan O'Donnell Show is not naming Jump Kick Man, as he has not been criminally charged in connection with the Rittenhouse case. Sources indicate that he contacted prosecutors and offered to testify, but in exchange requested immunity from an ongoing drunk driving and domestic abuse case with which he has been charged in June. Drunk driving. Gee, that seems to be also another popular pastime in Wisconsin, not just with Gage Grosskreutz, but with everybody. Prosecutors declined his offer and chose not to call him as a witness in the Rittenhouse case. According to online court records, Jump Kick Man has a criminal record that dates back more than 2 decades, with multiple felony convictions for car theft, ID theft, drug possession, and escaping custody. Given this and a recent prior conviction for misdemeanor battery and a subsequent probation revocation, Jump Kick Man should have been sentenced to at least some jail time following his most recent conviction. Yeah, but this is Wisconsin. By the way, the escaping custody complaint, Evidently, he just walked out of the courtroom someday. He just took a back exit and walked away. His earliest conviction listed in the Wisconsin Circuit Court Access online database is for felony escape, meaning that he had already been in custody or convicted of a crime and in the penal system. That offense is not listed in the database, but he was sentenced to 2 years in prison and 5 years of extended supervision on the escape charge. Upon his release, and while he was on extended supervision, he was convicted of possession of THC and sentenced to 5 days in jail in 2003. Okay, so he likes the marijuana. After another THC possession conviction got him 1 year of probation in 2007, it's not addictive, huh? Okay. He violated the terms of that probation when he was arrested on multiple counts of felony identity theft in early 2008. Oh my, what a great guy. Amazingly, not really, he reached a plea deal that allowed him to avoid prison time. Gee, there's a real shock. And was sentenced to just 3 years of probation. Less than 4 months later, he escaped arrest in a separate incident twice and was sentenced to a year in jail. Almost as soon as he was released, he was convicted of car theft and again sentenced to, drumroll, probation. Wisconsin. Oh my God, man. If I ever want to turn a life of crime, that's where I'm going. That arrest apparently violated the terms of his probation from the identity theft conviction. As a result, Jump Kick Man was sentenced to 2 years in prison and 2 years of extended supervision. In 2013, he was convicted of both drug possession and obstructing an officer as a repeat offender and sentenced to 6 months in jail. So it looks like they had a hard time getting him under control when they tried to arrest him. 3 years later, though, he was charged as a repeat offender with domestic violence-related disorderly conduct, but avoided jail time and got 2 years of probation. Unsurprisingly, in 2018, he violated the terms of that probation and was sentenced to 120 days in jail. At this point, Jump Kick Man had been sentenced to probation in 3 different cases and violated the terms of that probation every single time. Still, a judge last June sentenced him to probation yet again. And yet again, he violated the terms of that probation earlier this year. I always was under the impression that violating probation was like a really bad thing. Like if you did that, something bad would happen to you. Well, learn something new every day. Had the judge used some common sense and recognized that probation serves as no deterrent to Jump Kick Man, that judge might have imposed at least some jail time. For 2 straight decades, Jump Kick Man continued to commit crimes while on probation, and it should have therefore come as no surprise that he was on probation for domestic violence. He would be part of a mob that had descended on Kenosha. Yeah, this is the altruistic savior of the community, the one who's attacking Kyle Rittenhouse to protect the community from violence. Yeah. He saw a young kid on the run and thought, hey, I can kick the crap out of him. That's what his motivation was. He likely should have been in jail, though, and was not only because he received yet another break from the Kenosha County criminal justice system. In a very real sense, this break may have indirectly led to the death of Anthony Huber and shooting of Gage Grosskreutz. All right, so at this point, Dan O'Donnell knows who this dude is, but he's not going to tell anybody, okay? But it doesn't take long, because on the same day, Wisconsin right now declares Maurice Freeland Jump Kick Man. Maurice Freeland, a felon with a long criminal history and an open domestic violence charge, is accused of being the mysterious, supposedly unidentified man known as Jump Kick Man during the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Wisconsin right now has learned from a law enforcement source in a position to know that prosecutors informed the Rittenhouse defense team only last Thursday, November 11th, 2021, as the trial came to an end, that Freeland had come forward claiming to be Jump Kick Man. So I'll skip the criminal record. We already know that. It's not clear when Assistant District Attorney Thomas Binger and his boss, DA Mike Gravely, first learned about Freeland's claims. Clearly, it would be a much bigger issue if the prosecution knew his identity for longer, because the defense might have wanted to call or cross-examine him or track him down and vet the story. Wisconsin right now wrote Gravely and Binger and asked them for comment, and here's another shocker. Neither one of them wrote back. Jump Kick Man, as he was referred to by all parties in the court, was never named in court, and he was not called to the stand. The jury went into deliberations thinking his identity was unknown. The Rittenhouse jury deliberated for a day without reaching a verdict, concluding at about 5:45 p.m. In closing arguments, which took place after our source says Binger told the defense that Freeland claims to be Jump Kick Man, Binger described him this way. This man that the defense wants to call Jump Kick Man, although Binger knows his true identity, he's got no weapons, no gun, no knife, no nothing. Comes in and tries to kick the defendant in the face. Yeah, I tell you what, Binger, if you really don't think that getting kicked in the face is a big deal, well, why don't you lay on the ground and I'll come and kick you in the face, and then you can report back to me if it's any big deal or not. At another spot in closing arguments, Binger told the jury, and these folks that are coming at him, the Jump Kick Man, Anthony Huber, aren't armed. I don't know about that when it comes to Anthony Huber. He had a skateboard and he was aiming at Kyle Rittenhouse's head. That's armed. They're not a credible, imminent threat to his life. Okay, Binger, I tell you what, why don't you stand in a room and I will run in from behind you and I will take a skateboard and whack you across the back of the head with it. Then you can tell me at that point whether I was a credible, imminent threat to your life, if you can. He saw the defendant shoot at Jump Kick Man at close range, miraculously missing. He, Rittenhouse, put Jump Kick Man's life in jeopardy. I think that Jump Kick Man is the person who put his life in jeopardy. Freeland has several Facebook pages. His most recent is in the name of Maurice Gohard Freeland. Gohard? Okay. And he says he also goes by the name King Reese. Why not? It doesn't have much on it that's visible. Both prosecutors in the case, Thomas Binger and James Krause, handled some of his previous court hearings on other charges, so they know him. And he has appeared before Judge Bruce Schroeder in a past case also, according to court records. So a little bit more on Maurice Freeland's criminal record. In 2013, he was convicted of THC possession as a repeater, a felony, and misdemeanor obstructing an officer as a repeater. He received local jail time. In 2010, he had another forfeiture for disorderly conduct in a different court. In 2009, he was convicted of taking and driving a car without owner's consent. Okay, that's a plea bargain there. He stole it. All right. A felony. See, you don't get a felony conviction for just taking a guy's car without permission. I mean, you get it for stealing a car and then you plea bargain down. And obstructing an officer as a repeater, a misdemeanor. He was subjected to a paternity case in 2009. Gee, that's another really big shock. In 2008, he was convicted of felony escape. In 2008, he was also convicted of 2 felony counts of misappropriating ID. In 2007 and 2003, he was convicted of misdemeanor THC possession. He was convicted of escape, a felony, in 2000. So they have his jail history here. There he is. You can read this on your own. I'll post a link in the description below. And it only goes back to like 2018. So all of this that you see here, this is recent. It doesn't have any of the old stuff. I looked it up in the WCCA. His criminal record is long. Okay, so here's another article. It states Maurice Freeland's wife believes he's jump kick man, makes white boy comment claim. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and skip through most of this. A lot of this is pretty repetitive, but it stars Melody Price Freeland, the soon-to-be ex-wife of Maurice Freeland, the Kenosha felon who is suspected of being jump kick man in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, claimed to Wisconsin Right Now in an exclusive interview that Maurice allegedly told her right after the shooting occurred, "You're not going to believe what just happened. I almost got shot by a dude." He was all proud of it. He was all excited and happy. Hey, Maurice, you almost became Mary Freeland. Okay? I don't know if I'd want to be proud of that. You came within inches of being Mary or Melissa or Marcia. Okay? Melody's adult daughter, Jessica Ramirez, backed her up on this point. The picture was all over Facebook. He bragged all over Facebook that he was the one who kicked Kyle. It's definitely him. Both Melody and Ramirez said they recognized the clothing he wore in the photo, too. Melody provides new alleged details that, while unproven, seem like something the prosecution would want to vet and either debunk or verify. Most dramatically, she alleged to Wisconsin Right Now that Maurice posted on Facebook shortly before the shooting, writing, as she recalled it, "At Team Reese," remember that's his nickname, "let's kill that white boy," with emojis of a gun and coffin. Maurice Freeland's nickname is Reese, which is verified by his Facebook pages. She could not provide rock-solid proof of this, however, beyond her memory. Well, if this is true, then that kind of discounts the whole altruistic motive that people have been banning about this jump kick man, that he went in there to save the community from this vile, active shooter. All right, so I skipped over quite a bit of this article. Let's begin here. When did prosecutors learn Maurice claimed to be jump kick man? That remains unclear. We now have 3 sources in a position to know, however, who confirm that prosecutors told the defense only last Thursday, November 11th, 2021, on the day testimony closed. They said that Maurice James Freeland, 39, of Kenosha, had come forward claiming he was jump kick man. It's not clear when he first came forward, and Melody did not know. Melody had some dramatic claims. Remember, this is his ex-girlfriend or ex-wife. Asked whether she knew if the white boy comment referred to Rittenhouse, she said, "I don't, to be honest," but she said a half hour after he said it, he was allegedly kicking Rittenhouse. Melody also claims that Maurice expressed that he was upset about white men with rifles earlier that night. She says he later deleted the message and that they spoke by phone that night. Facebook generally wants law enforcement to act fast when making subpoena requests. Clearly, if such a statement were actually made, it would upend the narrative that Rittenhouse was the racist attacker. The defense is already arguing that the first man shot and killed, Joseph Rosenbaum, had made 2 threats to kill Rittenhouse. Prosecutors say they don't believe that. Her old phone was sitting on the counter but was spidered and almost unusable. She wasn't able to produce many messages from Maurice on her other phone, whom she doesn't seem very close to anymore and doesn't have a positive opinion of. "That's my husband in those pictures," Melody said emphatically of the jump kick man photos. She and Maurice have a pending divorce, but it hasn't gone through yet. He appeared at one October hearing from the Kenosha jail, but the jail says he was released October 24th. He was proud of it. I'm surprised he didn't frame it. Asked if she had any doubts he was jump kick man, she said, "None at all. About the Levi's he has on his ass. He's wearing North Face or the polo that my son got him prior to that. My son got the matching one. That is Maurice, hands down." So I'll post a link to some other articles here. Here's one by Blaze Media. There's a picture of Maurice Freeland. And another one by Minnesota Right Now, but I think this is pretty much the same article as Wisconsin Right Now. So it looks like they just share the material. And then there's one here by Fox News on Maurice Freeland. Like my video, subscribe to my channel.